وإذا قرئ القرآن فاستمعوا له وأنصتوا لعلكم ترحمون.
وإذا قرئ القرآن فاستمعوا له وإذا قرئ القرآن فاستمعوا له وأنصتوا لعلكم ترحمون.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Quran Circle 2. I'm Arkham Rashid, your host. In today's episode, we will recite a selection of verses from Surah Al-Isra and Surah Al-Kahf. And the theme that we selected for today's episode is the virtues of the Quran. So let's start off as usual by welcoming and introducing our wonderful guests for today. On my right hand side, I have Sheikh Ibrahim Zidan. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. Thank you.
Sheikh, if I can just quickly ask you, what's the purpose behind these two names, Isra and Kahf?
Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. The name Al-Isra refers to what's mentioned in the beginning of the surah about the journey of the Prophet ﷺ from Mecca to Jerusalem and then to the heavens. And that's the Isra, that there is Masra, there is a place of journey, basically. The journey of that night of Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj. And it has actually more than one name. It's called also Bani Israel, it's called Subhan because of the first name. And Al-Kahf, the cave, which refers to the story of the people of the cave. And the Surah of Al-Kahf is about the fitan and the tribulations that people would face, different tribulations. And that's why it's important to have this concept of the cave, to run away from the fitan for the sake of Allah.
All right, thank you very much for starting us off with that brief understanding of the two titles. Now I'm going to introduce our reciters to you for today. On my right hand side, I have Qari Muhammad Noor. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the show.
Wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Brother Arkham. Welcome to a new episode.
And it's wonderful having you on. We look forward to hearing your recitation, inshallah.
Thank you very much.
Next to him, we have Qari Ahmad Rajab. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the show.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Now, starting us off today with his beautiful recitation is Qari Muhammad Noor. So go ahead and open to Surah Al-Isra, verse number 78, and follow along.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أقم الصلاة لدلوك الشمس إلى غسق الليل وقرآن الفجر إن قرآن الفجر كان مشهودا ومن الليل فتهجد به نافلة لك عسى أن يبعثك ربك مقاما محمودا وقل رب أدخلني مدخل صدق وأخرجني مخرج صدق واجعل لي من لدنك سلطانا نصيرا وقل جاء الحق وزهق الباطل إن الباطل كان زهوقا وننزل من القرآن ما هو شفاء ورحمة للمؤمنين ولا يزيد الظالمين إلا خسارا وإذا أنعمنا على الإنسان أعرض ونأى بجانبه وإذا مسه الشر كان يئوسا قل كل يعمل على شاكلته فربكم أعلم بمن هو أهدى سبيلا ويسألونك عن الروح قل الروح من أمر ربي وما أوتيتم من العلم إلا قليلا ولئن شئنا لنذهبن بالذي أوحينا إليك ثم لا تجد لك به علينا وكيلا
إلا رحمة من ربك إن فضله كان عليك كبيرا. قل لئن اجتمعت الإنس والجن على أن يأتوا بمثل هذا القرآن لا يأتون بمثله ولو كان بعضهم لبعض ظهيرا. ولقد صرفنا للناس في هذا القرآن من كل مثل فأبى أكثر الناس إلا كفورا. وقالوا لن نؤمن لك حتى تفجر لنا من الأرض ينبوعا أو تكون لك جنة من نخيل وعنب فتفجر الأنهار خلالها تفجيرا أو تسقط السماء كما زعمت علينا كسفا أو تأتي بالله والملائكة قبيلا أو يكون لك بيت من زخرف أو ترقى في السماء ولن نؤمن لرقيك حتى تنزل علينا كتابا نقرأه قل سبحان ربي هل كنت إلا بشرا رسولا. وما منع الناس أن يؤمنوا إذ جاءهم الهدى إلا أن قالوا أبعث الله بشرا رسولا. قل لو كان في الأرض ملائكة يمشون مطمئنين لنزلنا عليهم من السماء ملكا رسولا. قل كفى بالله شهيدا بيني وبينكم إنه كان بعباده خبيرا بصيرا. ومن يهد الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلل فلن تجد لهم أولياء من دونه ونحشرهم يوم القيامة على وجوههم عميا وبكما وصما مأواهم جهنم كلما خبت زدناهم سعيرا. ذلك جزاؤهم بأنهم كفروا بآياتنا وقالوا أإذا كنا عظاما ورفاتا أإنا لمبعوثون خلقا جديدا. أولم يروا أن الله الذي خلق السماوات والأرض قادر على أن يخلق مثلهم وجعل لهم أجلا لا ريب فيه فأبى الظالمون إلا كفورا. قل لو أنتم تملكون خزائن رحمة ربي إذا لأمسكتم خشية الإنفاق وكان الإنسان قتورا.
That was absolutely wonderful. Jazakallah khair for that. Thank you very much, Qari Muhammad. Sheikh, so where should we begin, inshallah? Looking at the very first verse, it specifically speaks about reciting Quran in Fajr. So now I want to know, I mean, obviously we know that during the 5 prayers we recite Quran, but why is it specifying reciting Quran in Fajr, and it says, Inna Quran al-Fajr kana mashhuda?
No. First of all, the ayah is in the context. And the context of the ayat about the Prophet ﷺ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving him steadfastness and warning not to compromise, not to lean towards the ways of the disbelievers. So these then are the ways of steadfastness. If you want to be strong and to be steadfast on the deen, aqim as-salah. Establish the salah, and with the different times of the salah as it's mentioned in the ayah, but specifically mentioning the Quran that is recited in the Fajr. And the verse refers to the Quran that is recited in Salatul Fajr, not Quran recited after Salatul Fajr. So this Quran recited in Salatul Fajr, mashhood, that means it's witnessed by the angels. It's something that is so virtuous, and that's why the Prophet ﷺ would recite the Quran in Salatul Fajr longer than any other salah, up to 60 ayah as it's mentioned in some of the narrations, the norm of the Prophet ﷺ. And that's why those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala chose them to be among the people of Salatul Fajr in the masajid, they get one of the best gifts ever. And that is to establish this great salah that the Quran in it is mentioned in the surah as we hear, that it's witnessed. So you imagine the rest of the salah, even Sunnatul Fajr is mentioned, the Sunnah of Al-Fajr, that it's better than this whole entire earth and whatever it contains. So you can imagine how much great rewards there is. And of course the surah mentioned about the virtues of the Quran. That's the best of the times to listen to the Quran and to recite the Quran, and therefore the effect of the Quran will be in such a perfect way in the hearts.
And this is, I think, one of the virtues that we miss out on. I mean, most people for Fajr, they recite a short surah so they can go back to sleep. And here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that, no, this is the time where your Quran will be witnessed. Recite it, long surahs. And like you said, the Prophet ﷺ used to recite, it's narrated 60 verses in Salatul Fajr. Shaykh, I want to move to verse number 82. It says, وَيُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ وَلَا يَزِيدُ الظَّالِمِينَ إِلَّا خَسَارًا. And it's speaking about the mercy that's sent down on from the Quran or on the Quran. What does it speak? Can you just elaborate on this verse?
The Quran, the book of Allah, the miraculous words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought it down. There is 2 things, shifa and rahmah. Shifa is cure, and rahmah, mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to the believers. And the cure to the hearts from all kinds of diseases, shirk and sins and associating partners with Allah and being attached to Allah, and even physical cure. And that's why we seek cure by reciting the Quran on matters of ailments and so on. And rahmah, mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This whole entire message of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is mercy to mankind. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is sent as a mercy to mankind. And the subject of the mercy, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent by what? He was sent by the Quran and his Sunnah alayhi salatu wasalam. So the Quran is mercy, mercy in this life and in the hereafter. And going back to the subject of Al-Fajr, when people sometimes we don't feel like standing long in the salah listening to the Quran, when you have something as a medicine to cure what's in the heart when it has a disease is like when you have a wound, when you put medicine on it, sometimes it hurts, right? But once it's clean, right, this part that was wounded, it would feel wonderful. So sometimes because we incur on ourselves the diseases of the heart, the Quran needs to go in there and wash out all of these diseases. And this is the shifa, this is the cure. And then the mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is the Quran, to bring all kinds of goodness, and the iman increases, and the person would really enjoy this life. The real joy of this life is when the person starts to taste the Quran and the ayat of the Quran. Otherwise, it's the opposite to those who are zalimeen and transgressors. It does not increase them anything but loss, because they read the Quran with a different intention, to try to find faults in it, not as a book of guidance. So having the right intention, especially in the month of Ramadan, the month of the Quran, to start to change our life and to make decisions that the Quran will be the means of cure for us and the means of mercy, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, and that's why we won't leave it for a day. Every day is part of our life.
And Sheikh, I would like to know what kind of practical advice would you give to those that, for example, don't understand Arabic because they don't speak Arabic. And I noticed, like, from my time in Egypt, I noticed that Egyptians love to hear the recitation of Quran, especially in Salah. I mean, even Salatul Maghrib, the Imam usually recites something very long and everybody's calm and listening to it. But people in, for example, in the West, a lot of people don't understand Arabic, and it's hard for people to stand for long periods of time if they don't understand what's being said. So what kind of advice would you give them?
Wallahi, the advice is of two parts. The first part is, if you're still alive, alhamdulillah, and you have the ability to learn, don't waste your life. Right? Why wasting our life and not learning the Quran? Spend the years and the years to study. And every day is a short, something small to be taught and to be learned. After some time, you would find yourself changed totally. But to wait or to be overwhelmed, there's no way I would be able to learn the Quran, and people don't do anything. But the ilm, the knowledge is always one step after another. So one verse, one word here and there, and be patient, but on a daily basis to be consistent till you start to enjoy really the recitation of the Quran. The second thing is, even for those who do not do this and do not learn really the Quran in such an extensive way, listening to the Quran is cure, even if you don't understand it. It's an act of worship that the Prophet ﷺ would love to listen to the Quran from someone else. Although it's not definitely the same than someone understand and comprehend the Quran, the effect of it is totally different, but still keep on listening to the Quran. Be patient with that. Have a daily schedule for yourself to listen to the Quran, even if it's a short period of time. Have a daily also practice every day that you will recite something, learning something, to read, to reflect upon the Quran and to get to know the meanings. And the more the person has zeal, the more definitely ways of goodness will be there.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Sheikh, I want to move to verse number 86, 87, and 88. We'll get one of the reciters to recite it, inshallah.
ولئن شئنا لنذهبن بالذي أوحينا إليك ثم لا تجد لك به علينا وكيلا إلا رحمة من ربك إن فضله كان عليك كبيرا قل إن اجتمعت الإنس والجن على أن يأتوا بمثل هذا القرآن لا يأتون بمثله ولو كان بعضهم لبعض ظهيرا.
Thank you very much, Qari Ahmed. Sheikh, if we can start with verse number 86, if you can clarify what that verse is saying for us.
This is one of the types of the verses where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is testing our understanding or our attachment to the Quran. That this is something that is not going to happen. But if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will, He would take away what He had provided the Prophet ﷺ with this wahy. And imagine this life without the revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Total darkness, total deviation, chaos. And as a result of that, who is going to be the support and who is going to be the help? How will people know how means of guidance and to be steadfast on the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And إِلَّا رَحْمَةً مِّن رَبِّكَ, it's nothing but the mercy of Allah. This is what has been given to you, which is again, the Quran is being mentioned as rahmah. Mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is ar-Rahim. And we know what rahmah means. We know what mercy is. Because if you see something that needs help, a weak creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, sometimes you would have tears in your eyes. This is rahmah, this is mercy that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have in every single human being. Imagine all of these rahmat and all of these mercies together. It's still part of the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and nothing is the like of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The mercy of Allah, no matter how much a person think of what mercy can be, nothing is the like of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. People cannot really comprehend it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, out of His mercy, He brought down this Quran. And the bounties and the virtues from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and on this ummah as a result of following the Prophet ﷺ is kabiran. Kabiran is big, is huge. Who's saying that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not according to our own standards of what's big and small. These types of verses, it should really affect our hearts, that what are we doing without the Quran? Sometimes people live their life as if there's no Quran. There's no guidance, as if they're living in the world without this mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means if it's not the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's the opposite. They are being punished. They are being ruining themselves when they're away from the Quran. So the more we are close to the Quran, the more we receive the rahmah, the mercy from Allah. The further away we are, the less we receive. So it's our choice. Some people are that much and some people are that much. So this is, again, it's a decision to be made. How much of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala we want to have in this life? It's according to how much close are we to the book of Allah, the Quran, the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
And I think that's a very important point for many people to understand, alongside the fact that how many things from the religion is mercy. I mean, if somebody just reads the Quran, it speaks about how the Prophet is sent as mercy to mankind, how the Quran is sent as mercy. I mean, this deen of Islam, it's sent as a mercy to mankind, and people tend to forget that so many times, and they focus on some of the rules and regulations, and as if that's all of Islam.
And one important point with this, as a rule, as a matter of belief, nothing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade on us or made it permissible for us or obligatory for us unless it's part of that mercy. Different than the nations before, they were punished by the rulings. It was a punishment for them. But for this ummah, it's all mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why people need to witness this meaning, this great meaning of mercy.
Okay. Sheikh, now the last verse that Qari Ahmad recited for us was قُلَّ إِنِ اجْتَمَعَتِ الْإِنسُ وَالْجِنُّ, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is basically challenging mankind and jinn to come with a Quran like the Quran that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent. I mean, what's the purpose of this sort of challenge? Earlier on we covered another challenge previously, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala challenged the Arabs, that if you think that you can bring something like this, bring one chapter like this. So what's the purpose of repeating this sort of challenge?
This is the way of the Quran. The Quran is book of mathani, something that is always repeated, so that it's not one chapter that you finish with and then you go to the next one. It's the different meanings keeps on coming for the reciter of the Quran to revive the iman, to establish certain meanings, and it's in different contexts. So for example, here when it talks about the Quran being mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that nobody can comprehend whatsoever, nobody can stand the power of the Quran, that they will be able to bring the like of it. And the challenge, because this is the last revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this is the miracle that was given to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And the miracle means that whoever is not able to stand up against that challenge, that means they should do what? They should humble themselves and follow the truth. Because the challenge here is such an amazing one. It's not challenging the Arab only or certain individuals. It's challenging all human beings till the Day of Judgment. And jinn and all that exists to bring the like of the Quran. And see the challenge, وَلَا يَأْتُونَ بِمِثْلِهِ. They would never be able to bring the like of it. This does not exist in any book on the face of earth. There's no book on the face of earth that people can say this. And that's why this is the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if they are to one another supporters and helpers. Imagine the whole entire earth, this is their focus. They get together all their resources and their power and their means and their intelligence to bring the like of the Quran. They would fail miserably, because this is again the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Therefore, right, people should not waste their life, but rather they should get into this mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that shows the miraculous nature of the Quran.
Thank you very much, Sheikh. Dear viewers, we're going to go for a short break, and as soon as we come back from that break, we will continue with another selection from Surah Al-Isra, and then we will recite a selection from Surah Al-Kahf, so stay tuned.
وإذا قرئ القرآن فاستمعوا له وأنصتوا لعلكم ترحمون وإذا قرئ القرآن فاستمعوا له وأنصتوا لعلكم ترحمون.
Welcome back to Quran Circle 2. Now, before the break, we were speaking about the virtues of the Quran. So we'll start off this part by having Qari Ahmad Rajab recite a selection from Surah Al-Isra, verse number 101 to the end of the surah, and then after that he will start Surah Al-Kahf from verses 1 to 15. So enjoy.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ولقد آتينا موسى 9 آيات بينات فاسأل بني إسرائيل إذ جاءهم فقال له فرعون إني لأظنك يا موسى مسحورا. قال لقد علمت ما أنزل هؤلاء إلا رب السماوات والأرض بصائر وإني لأظنك يا فرعون مثبورا. قال لقد علمت ما أنزل هؤلاء إلا رب السماوات والأرض بصائر وإني لأظنك يا فرعون مثبورا. فأراد أن يستفزهم من الأرض فأغرقناه ومن معه جميعا. وقلنا من بعده لبني إسرائيل اسكنوا الأرض فإذا جاء وعد الآخرة جئنا بكم لفيفا. وبالحق أنزلناه وبالحق نزل وما أرسلناك إلا مبشرا ونذيرا. وقرآنا فرقناه لتقرأه على الناس على مكث ونزلناه تنزيلا. قل آمنوا به أو لا تؤمنوا إن الذين أوتوا العلم من قبله إذا يتلى عليهم يخرون للأذقان سجدا ويقولون سبحان ربنا إن كان وعد ربنا لمفعولا. ويخرون للأذقان يبكون ويزيدهم خشوعا. قل ادعوا الله أو ادعوا الرحمن أيما تدعوا فله الأسماء الحسنى. ولا تجهر بصلاتك ولا تخافت بها وابتغ بين ذلك سبيلا. وقل الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك ولم يكن له ولي من الذل وكبره تكبيرا. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله الذي أنزل على عبده الكتاب ولم يجعل له عوجا قيما لينذر بأسا شديدا من لدنه ويبشر المؤمنين الذين يعملون الصالحات أن لهم أجرا حسنا ماكثين فيه أبدا وينذر الذين قالوا اتخذ الله ولدا ما لهم به من علم ولا لآبائهم كبرت كلمة تخرج من أفواههم إن يقولون إلا كذبا فلعلك باخع نفسك على آثارهم إن لم يؤمنوا بهذا الحديث أسفا إنا جعلنا ما على الأرض زينة لها لنبلوهم أيهم أحسن عملا وإنا لجاعلون ما عليها صعيدا جرزا أم حسبت أن أصحاب الكهف والرقيم كانوا من آياتنا عجبا إذ أوى الفتية إلى الكهف فقالوا ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا فضربنا على آذانهم في الكهف سنين عددا ثم بعثناهم لنعلم أي الحزبين أحصى لما لبثوا أمدا نحن نقص عليك نبأهم بالحق إنهم فتية آمنوا بربهم وزدناهم هدى وربطنا على قلوبهم إذ قاموا فقالوا ربنا رب السماوات والأرض لن ندعو من دونه إلها لقد قلنا إذا شططا هؤلاء قوم اتخذوا من دونه آلهة لولا يأتون عليهم بسلطان بين فمن أظلم ممن افترى على الله كذبا.
Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much for that beautiful recitation. Thank you. Sheikh, I want to start off by asking you about, in the beginning, it spoke about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala giving the Prophet Moses 9 signs. What is this verse talking about? What signs did he give him? Is this the Torah? Is this something else?
No. These signs from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are mentioned throughout the Quran. These were miracles that were given to Musa alayhi salam. Like the hand, that his hand becomes white, like the asa, the stick of Musa alayhi salam, the flood, the locust, the frogs, and the blood. Right? So these things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tested the people of Fir'aun and aided Musa alayhi salam with these signs. It's mentioned in Surah Al-A'raf and other surahs of the Quran. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned here to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam the story of Musa alayhi salam as a way to give steadfastness to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and how the struggle between the truth and the falsehood, something will continue to be till the day of judgment. And therefore people need to refer to the real miracle now, which is, or the everlasting miracle in this life, which is the Quran. And that's why, again, towards the end of the surah, it talks about the Quran. This is the biggest miracle that was given to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the most important throughout the history of all of the prophets, because it's a living miracle. not something that was witnessed only by the people that were present, but something that would stay till the end of time, the miraculous words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Quran. And it shows how Fir'aun reacted to this clear miracles from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, still did not believe.
Okay. And this is different from the scrolls that were given to Moses and the Torah. That was
Right,
given
this
to
is different now.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that clarification. Sheikh, I want to move to verses 105 to 108, and we'll have one of the reciters recite it for us from وَبِالْحَقِّ أَنزَلْنَاهُ until the end of 108. Qari Muhammad Noor, if you could be kind enough to recite that for us, inshallah.
وبالحق أنزلناه وبالحق نزل وما أرسلناك إلا مبشرا ونذيرا وقرآنا فرقناه لتقرأه على الناس على مكث ونزلناه تنزيلا قل آمنوا به أو لا تؤمنوا إن الذين أوتوا العلم من قبله إذا يتلى عليهم يخرون للأذقان سجدا ويقولون سبحان ربنا إن كان وعد ربنا لمفعولا ويخرون للأذقان يبكون ويزيدهم خشوعا قل ادعوا الله أو ادعوا الرحمن أيما تدعوا فله الأسماء الحسنى ولا تجهر بصلاتك ولا تخافت بها وابتغ بين ذلك سبيلا وقل الحمد لله الذي لم يتخذ ولدا ولم يكن له شريك في الملك ولم ولم يكن له ولي من الذل وكبره تكبيرا.
Thank you very much, Qari Muhammad. Sheikh, if you can just give us a brief tafsir of these few verses.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is stating towards the end of Surah Al-Isra that how the Quran and the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes down by the truth. It's the truth and it comes down by the truth. And Jibreel alayhi salam was the one that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent with this wahi, with this revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the strength of the words are very strong because of the ways of the disbelievers opposing this truth by their opinions, by their desires to protect their wealth and status and so on. It's something that is so evil when it comes to opposing the haqq, the truth that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed. And this is as a way to send to all mankind the warnings and the glad tidings, the warnings against those who would refuse and oppose this wahi from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the glad tidings for those who would hold fast to this haqq. This concept of al-haqq and the batil, the truth and falsehood, something that human beings sometimes they try to belittle. And we need to, as Muslims, to make it so clear to us. There is haqq and there is batil. There is truth and falsehood. The matter is not just, in between. No, it's either haqq or batil, and that's why our life is to strive to know the haqq, to know the truth, and to hold fast to it, and to run away and to flee away from the falsehood. And the haqq is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed in this Quran. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought it down. And the word tanzila has been mentioned more than one time. Came down from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from above, from the creator of the heavens and the earth to this weak creation of Allah, the human beings. And whether people believe in it or not, right? And this is the warning against them, that it's not about going after them in a way that they would do something to the creator of the heavens and the earth. The ones that are honored by the Quran are those who would accept it. So it's for them to benefit. The deen of Islam would not benefit anything from them. The truth would not become better if the people would accept it. The truth is always the truth, it's the best. It remains the same. It's the benefit for the people. And that's why the people that would really benefit from the truth, those who receive the ilm. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ أُوتُوا الْعِلْمِ. Those who receive the ilm are the ones that would benefit from the Quran. And you see the verses that whenever they would receive the words from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the people of knowledge or the people of the book, they would fall in prostration in sujood. And it shows the effect of the Quran, but we need to have the knowledge to have this effect of the Quran in our hearts. And by the way, with the verses, with the sujood here, we did not make sujood. The making sujood is not mandatory, but it's something that we should not miss whatsoever if a person is reciting the Quran. But for the listeners, they don't have to make sujood because the reciter did not make sujood. So if the reciter makes sujood, then the listener would make sujood. But if the reciter doesn't make sujood, then people should not also make sujood. But it's definitely recommended. And how the Quran would bring that effect in people humbling themselves and weeping and crying by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the sujood and matters of ibadah. And the disbelievers, they used to deny the name of Ar-Rahman. They used to call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they denied that name. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying them, whether you call upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or Ar-Rahman, these are names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that some even said Ar-Rahman is ma'alam to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not just another name of Allah, but it's usually mentioned with Allah to refute the ways of the disbelievers. And to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala belong the beautiful names, the perfect names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to invoke Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala using these names and attributes of Allah, and ordering us when it comes to the salah and how the relationship again between the salah and the Quran, as it's mentioned before. They're always related, right? Because this is where we recite the Quran, the best time to recite the Quran in the salah. And not to be so loud or not to be so silent, but the tongue, of course, has to move with the salah as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered us, and to be grateful to Allah. The surah ends with Alhamd, and Surah Al-Kahf starts with Alhamd. Right? That all the praises to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that He did not have a son. Right? It's not just about refuting this evil belief. It's by the praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the only creator, the sustainer. He has no son, no partners. Nobody can affect whatsoever the might and the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And those who claim these deficiencies to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they're not making the takbir of Allah. They're not exalting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because they're claiming, whether explicitly or implicitly, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala depend on other things or depend on creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why immediately in Surah Al-Kahf, Alhamdulillahi alladhi anzala ala abdi, again, the Quran that was brought down to the Prophet ﷺ, this is the real praise. If we don't really enjoy and having the rejoice for the Quran, we have a problem. The people of the book, those who believed in the Prophet ﷺ, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called them in the Quran that they yafrahun bima unzila ilayk. They are rejoicing by what has been revealed to you, O Prophet of Allah. So the same thing, we should take the Quran, it's a source of rejoicing for us. Why? Because we're getting to know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants from us. And that's why we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He made us among those who would read the Quran and listen to it and enjoy it and act according to it.
I mean, and this first verse of Surah Al-Kahf, it's such a deep verse. Alhamdulillahi alladhi anzala ala abdihi al-kitab. You know, all praises be to that person or that individual who has sent down this book on his slave, and speaking about the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it just shows us the greatness of the Quran itself. Now, I mean, obviously we know Surah Al-Kahf, like you said in the beginning, is named after the story of the people of Kahf. Sheikh, if you could just lightly touch upon their story, not to get too far into it.
No. First of all, since we recited a part of Surah Al-Isra, Surah Al-Isra starts with Subhanalladhi, Subhan, and then Surah Al-Kahf starts with Alhamdulillah. The two together gives the perfect combination. Denying all deficiencies to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you say Subhanallah, and then you're stating the perfect names and attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying Alhamdulillah. And that's both in the Quran. Since we're talking about the Quran, you would find in the Quran all kinds of weaknesses and deficiencies. We deny that from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we're stating that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the perfect names and attributes. With the recitation of the Quran, with the Quran being revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Surah Al-Kahf talks about the Quran as we hear in the beginning, because in the Quran the best narrations and the best stories, the stories of the truth, that these stories are meant for people to get to know the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to warn those who would claim that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has a son, those who associate partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and to comfort the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam by mentioning these stories, not to be terrified by what people do and be pressured by them, but to get to know the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that the matter has been repeated before. Surah Al-Kahf, since we recite it every Jumu'ah and it's a virtue to do that, we need to give it time to reflect upon these stories. It's basically referring to the different tribulations and trials that human beings as individuals or the ummah of the Prophet ﷺ would face, whether it's the fitna with regards to the deen, the trial with regards to one's religion, which is the story of the people of the Kahf. That's why the most important one to pay attention to, and that's why the surah is named after the people of the cave. They were rich people, young people. They have all kinds of means of strength in this life to be deviated away, like many of the young people when they have wealth and they are sons of or daughters of people of strength and wealth. They tend to forget about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and about being righteous, and they follow their desires. But these people, instead, they were believers and they were threatened, and as a result of that they fled and they went to this cave, left all kinds of luxury and goodness and leniency to live or to stay in a cave that has no physical comfort in it whatsoever, because if the heart is full of the light and the revelation from Allah, really the physical thing doesn't matter to them that much, because the main concern is to save their religion. Opposing this fitna when people are being trial to them when it comes to matters of the religion, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bestowed His mercy upon them, and it was a miraculous thing that they slept, as we know, for over 300 years, Hijri ones, but 300 years in the other calendars. So for a long period of time they stayed asleep, and they didn't realize this, and it was a miraculous thing to the people that witnessed it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved them. And the other stories in Surah Al-Kahf shows the fitna, the trial when it comes to matters of wealth, like the story of the two gardens, the fitna with regards to ilm, to knowledge, with regards to the story of Musa alayhi salam and Al-Khadr, and the fitna of a sultan or authority when it came to the story of Dhul Qarnayn. So it's a very interesting surah that we need to learn how to deal with these fitan. The fitan, we run away from it. And I remember one of the things that Shaykh al-Nabaz rahimahullah, he used to say, every believer, he should have his own cave. Not a physical cave, right? But you have to have your own. What does the cave do? They ran away. They thought that this will be the shelter for them. So they were seeking the shelter from the trials in the cave. So the same thing, every believer, we need to run away from the fitan, and we need to have our own caves, not a physical one, but this is when you sit and you recite Quran. This is your cave to stay away from the fitan. When we stand and we make our salah, when we make the ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so that we're not affected by these trials and tribulations around us.
And Sheikh, I've heard that if you recite Surah Al-Kahf on Fridays, that saves you from the fitna of Dajjal. Is this true?
The reciting Surah Al-Kahf on Friday is a light, is a nur from one Jumu'ah to the other. But the Prophet ﷺ said in the authentic hadith in Sahih Muslim and others, that whoever memorized the first 10 verses of Surah Al-Kahf, and in the same book Sahih Muslim, there's another narration, the last 10 verses of Surah Al-Kahf, he will be protected from the biggest fitna on earth, which is the fitna of the Dajjal. If he had to face the Dajjal or the Antichrist, recite on him the first 10 verses or the last 10 verses of Surah Al-Kahf. So we should try our best, inshallah ta'ala, to memorize these first 10 verses of Surah Al-Kahf.
Inshallah. And just my last question before we bring an end to the show. Verse number 6, if you can briefly touch that for us, inshallah.
The Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is comforting him in his huge mission of the da'wah, calling people to al-iman. And the Prophet ﷺ had so much concern towards the people. And that's always the case with the hearts of those who are callers to Allah. They're not really caring about their own selves, they're caring more about the others. So the Prophet ﷺ almost destroying his own self and ruining his own life by having this so much concern. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَلَعَلَّكَ بَاخِعٌ نَفْسَكَ عَلَى آثَارِهِمْ إِن لَمْ يُؤْمِنُوا بِهَذَا الْحَدِيثِ أَسَفًا. بَاخِعٌ نَفْسَكَ means you will destroy yourself, you will kill yourself, following them, so that they would believe in this hadith, in this speech of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You will kill yourself as a result of the asaf, or as a result of the sadness that they are turning away from the truth. That means do not do that to yourself, O Prophet of Allah. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comforting the Prophet ﷺ that this is the way of Allah. It shows the virtues of the Prophet ﷺ, the sincerity, of course, of the Prophet ﷺ, and the sincerity of those who follow the Prophet ﷺ. The da'wah to Allah, it's not because of fame or wealth, or we do it so that people accept us. What if people do not accept us? What if people, they turn away from us? or reject what we call them to? Should we continue to give the da'wah or should we just give up? The Prophet ﷺ never gave up. It's the da'wah for the sake of Allah and seeking rewards from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. And it's so important to know the way of Allah, because if a person doesn't know the way of Allah, once he says something to somebody and he says some bad words to him, he will turn away. If he doesn't like it, then the pride comes in place. But this is knowing the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That means you will expect that they won't believe. You will expect that they would reject it. So why are you giving them da'wah? To do that for the sake of Allah. And maybe they will accept, but it's a duty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordered the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and ordered this ummah, since there's no prophets to come, based on this knowledge that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to the Prophet alayhi sallam. And one last thing is the qasas, the stories. These are one of the very important means of giving steadfastness. And that's why it was revealed to the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And as they said, al-qasas jund min junudillah. The stories is one of the deputies of Allah. It's sent to your heart to comfort you. Because once you know that the matter has been repeated, right, so you would see yourself, your position, where is it? Among those who are following the falsehood and turned away, they end up being in the hellfire, or among the people of the truth, they were patient only for a few amount of time, and then they return to the everlasting joy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
All right, Sheikh, that brings us to the end of this episode. So I want to thank you very much for once again coming out here and sharing your wisdoms with us. Thank you very much, Sheikh.
It's my pleasure.
And I want to thank both of you guys for coming out here and sharing your beautiful recitations with us. Once again, thank you very much, Qari Muhammad and Qari Ahmed. Dear viewers, I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Let us try our best to reflect on the virtues of this book of mercy. And until next time, may God bless us all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.